A while back, I said I'd make a part 2 of my The Last Guest review, covering the sequels that followed. Unfortunately, I ended up deleting the project by accident. At the time, I didn't want to start from scratch, so I decided to scrap the idea altogether.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
But after giving it some thought, I realised I do want to talk about the sequels. Mainly because I feel like they deserve a proper criticism, just like I did with The Last Guest and the Bacon Ham movie. Now, I know I briefly touched on the sequels in my Shez character analyzation video, but I didn't really give them a full breakdown. So that's what I'll be doing here. Before I get into it though, I want to make something clear. Please don't harass or attack anyone mentioned in this video, including me. I'm simply reviewing and criticizing a series, nothing more. I'm actually a fan of Oblivion's HD, but offering criticism doesn't mean I dislike or hate his work. Also keep in mind that Matt was a teenager when he made the series, so it's worth cutting him a little slack. Alright, let's get started. I won't go too deep into the first movie since I have already done a full review of it. If you haven't seen that yet, I recommend checking it out. But here's a quick recap. The movie ends with Guest blowing up the banking terminal.
Oh my!
And it's assumed that Guest dies in the explosion as well. Or at least that's what we thought. After the movie's release, Oblivion's HD, Matt, not to be confused with his in-movie counterpart, decided to make a sequel. This was largely due to fan demands, as a lot of his audience, mainly kids, wanted to know what happened next. Many of them didn't like what they saw as a quote-unquote bad ending. Personally, I didn't see it as a bad ending at all. To me, it was bittersweet but fitting. Guest sacrifices himself, Bill the man honors him with a gold statue, and the film closes with Charlotte reading Guest's final letter to her mother, and his friend Matt. I thought that was a solid, complete ending. Honestly, I don't think a sequel was necessary, let alone 3. But a sequel is what we got, and were those sequels perfect? No, far from it. The Last Guest 2 kicks off by introducing us to Shez, the son of the Bacon General, and his mum, who for some reason never gets the name, so for the sake of this review, we're just gonna call her Hazel. We see little Shez drawing a picture of his family.
Mommy, look what I made.
That looks wonderful, Ches.
Hazel is, of course, supportive. Meanwhile, the Bacon General takes one look at his son's artwork and
What are you doing?
basically goes full bad dad mode. Instead of putting his drawing on the fridge, Shez gets a slap to the face, which conveniently leaves an X scar on his cheek. And listen, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure scars don't form instantly in the exact shape of a cartoon pirate treasure map. Anyway, Mr. Good Parent of the Year tells Shez,
Drawing won't make you an elite soldier. Get to the gym and practice your drills this instant.
Shez, being the obedient, traumatized child he is, does exactly that. Then presumably, the very next day, he goes into the forest with his best friend Sarah, and that's where they find a dog with an injured leg. And oh boy, let's talk about the captions here. The captions literally read, Newsletter looks badly injured. What? How do you mess up like that? This isn't YouTube's automatic captions. These were custom made for the film. Either autocorrect betrayed Matt in his darkest hour, or English wasn't the captioner's first language. Either way, the result is comedy gold. I can't stop picturing some poor deaf kid watching this movie and thinking Shez found a critically wounded newspaper in the woods. So Shez runs home, all excited to tell his mum about his heroic day of saving injured stationery, only to find Hazel lying on the kitchen floor with a knife in her chest. She gives him one final look before dying right in front of him.
Oh my!
Then Shez wakes up. Turns out it was all a dream. He's now a teenager, and apparently he's been sleeping in class this whole time. Someone wakes him up, and the teacher's less than thrilled about his mid-lecture nap session. Shez then trauma dumps about his mom being killed by a guest.
Yeah. 10 years ago today when she was killed by a guest.
That's some bullshit.
Which Sarah tries to tell him that isn't true at all. The teacher interrupts and decides to give the class a history lesson. According to Bacon History 101, the Baconheads were outcasts.
Police arrested us for no reason. Shopkeepers refused to sell food to us and we were forced to move away.
And apparently the guests hated them because they were murderers and thieves. Yeah, Nuffy says we're not criminals like starting your own isolation empire run by a guy who literally murdered a bunch of guests, including guest 1337's parent. You guys are really making a good point there.
You stupid.
Then in comes the Bacon General himself. He gives the kids what's supposed to be motivation speech, but let's be real, it's more dictator prep talk than anything.
Under my glorious leadership, the Bacon Empire has grown and prospered, and we have an army feared by all. Now that you're 15, you will train to be an elite soldier for our empire. Our time is close, and we will march on Roblox to claim back what is rightfully ours.
Shut the up.
After that, he takes them all to the gym to start training. Well, not all of them, only the boys. Yep, this empire also runs on good old-fashioned sexism. Anyway, Bacon General announced that whoever wins their sparring match gets the ultimate prize, standing next to him while they watch the guest games. And what exactly are the guest games, you ask? Don't worry, we'll get to that mess in a second. And no surprise, Jess wins the sparring match.
What a twist!
Afterwards, Bacon General gives Shez some fatherly praise.
Well done, my son. I had no doubt you would be victorious.
And send him to fetch the Bacon Doctor and meet him at the Colonel's office. Cut to the new scene where we meet the Bacon Colonel himself. He and the Bacon General are busy plotting which guest family to target next. According to Colonel,
there are just 2 families of guests remaining in Roblox now, General. Which one shall we target next?
Yes, his Robloxian wife and daughter, and Rose with her guest parents. Bacon General decides Rose's family is next on the hit list. Then Jess scrolls into the office, but honestly nothing noteworthy happens. That just introduces him to the Colonel like they are dating or something.
Ah, Jez. Let me introduce you to my Colonel.
Your dad.
Now we jump to the Bacon Doctor, who's secretly giving his daughter Sarah supplies to deliver to the guests. Jez, being the nosy little he is, follows her into the forest where we discover a guest resident camp. The camp is full of guests in orange jumpsuits, forced to mine rocks, chop down trees, and throw rocks for some reason. Some guests even collapse from exhaustion. Meanwhile, Sarah sneaks supplies to an elderly guest through a hole in the fence. She shows genuine sympathy, apologizing for what her people are doing to him.
I'm so sorry for what my people are doing to you.
It's one of the few decent emotional beats in the film. And then Jez ruins it by stepping out of the bushes like... Gotcha! Sarah tries to explain that the guests aren't actually monsters, he thinks they are. But Jez isn't having it. Instead of listening, he bolts straight back to the Colonel's office, ready to rat out his best friend and her dad like a snitch. So Jez walks into the Colonel's office, ready to snitch on Sarah like the good little bacon narc he is. But mid-sentence he suddenly freezes because he spots something in the Colonel's open desk drawer. What's in there? Oh, you know, just a perfectly clean knife, the exact same blade you used to kill Jez's mother, just sitting there wide open. Why would you leave the murder weapon lying around your office in an open drawer? I have no idea, don't ask me. Anyway, Jez does a quick mental U-turn and changes the subject.
Oh, I just wanted to say I'm really looking forward to the guest games tomorrow.
That is understandable. The guest games are always an exciting highlight of the year.
You're a stupid man!
Cut to the next day, Shez is back in class. Sarah asks why he didn't rat her out, and Shez tells her he knows who really killed his mum, and promises to explain later before she can ask anything else. The teacher interrupts, and sends the whole class off to the arena to watch the guest game.
Listen up, class. Anyone lucky enough to be selected to watch this year's annual guest games? Make your way to the arena.
Only the boys though. Then we are shown the arena. The Bacon General does a bit of a... Two guests are brought into the arena, but when they refuse to fight each other to death, the Bacon General execute them both. The scene then shifts to show several other guests forced to fight to the death with their swords. Oh, if you're wondering what the hell is the guest game is, I'll let the Bacon General explain.
Guest games! These games are here to demonstrate the power and might of the glorious Bacon Empire. To show that we are the superior race, and to let the whole world know that we Bacon people should be respected and feared. 2 guests will fight to the death. The survivor will return to prison. If both refuse to fight, they will be killed.
Anyhow, afterwards, the story cuts to Shez and Sarah sitting together in the forest. Shez expresses guilt and remorse over what his people are doing and admits how disgusted he feels towards his father's actions. Together, he and Sarah decide to deliver supplies to a young female guest around Shez's age, known as Guest 555, or Rose. Now, I already did a video explaining who Rose is, which I highly suggest you go and watch it. So Shez, Rose and Sarah became best friends. They even play together and hang out despite Rose literally living behind the prison fence. We then cut to Shez training at the gym, completely unaware that he's being watched by elite guard. Don't worry, I'll talk more about them next time. The next day, Sarah and Shez head back to the prison camp, only to get some devastating news. Their best friend, Rose,
Been chosen for the guest games.
after knowing her for months. This is the absolute last thing they wanted to hear, so they come up with a plan to break Rose and the other guests out of the camp. That night, Sarah dresses up in her doctor's uniform and heads for the camp gates. Some Bacon soldiers are stationed there, and she tries to bluff her way through by saying
There's a guest that needs urgent medical attention. I'm here to treat him.
The soldiers are totally convinced though, and one of them goes to radio the Bacon General to confirm her story. Before he can, Shez jumps in and knocks him out, taking down the other guards as well. With the coast clear, Shez opens the gate through the control panel, only to realize there's a problem.
Jez? Where's the guest?
It's the Bacon Colonel. Somehow, he's already caught on to their plan to rescue the guests, and originally, he was going to take the kids to the Bacon General, but changes his mind because, quote,
I don't like traitors.
the Colonel ends up shooting Sarah, kills her instantly. Shez then reacts in a way that's hard to even describe, and the Colonel has him thrown into the prison camp. While there, Shez begins hallucinating, or perhaps imagining, conversation with the ghost of his dead mother and his best friend. Soon after, Rose finds him and Shez explains what happened before promising her that he'll find a way to free her and the other guests from the camp. The next morning, Shez is broken by the Bacon soldiers, who inform him that his father wants to see him. We cut to Shez being berated by the Bacon General.
The Bacon people demand loyalty. I demand loyalty.
Who refused to believe him when Shez accuses the Colonel of murdering his mother.
The Colonel killed Mom.
Don't be so idiotic.
Self-blistering, the General drags Shez off to join the war.
I'm only 15. Why am I being drafted into war?
Later, the Colonel reports to the Bacon General about the status of the Robloxian army.
What is the situation?
Their forces are pathetic. They've already started to retreat.
Once the General leaves, the Colonel attempts to contact his troops over the radio, but is suddenly confronted by Shez, who holds him at gunpoint. Furious, Shez yells,
You killed my mother. And you killed my best friend. Now you're going to die.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up!
That's when the Colonel drops the shocking truth.
I didn't kill your mother. It was your father.
So it's revealed that the Bacon General, not the Colonel, was the one who murdered Shez's mother. It meant to be a shocking twist, but really it just felt like a poorly executed red herring. What makes it worse is that Shez immediately believes the Colonel's claim without hesitation. Before he can act, he's knocked out by a Bacon soldier, and the Colonel orders Shez to be tied up. Meanwhile, the Bacon General spots the last guest and moves to confront him. Shez, who apparently has an actually being tied up yet, regains consciousness and fights off the soldiers. After the fight, he sees his father holding the last guest at gunpoint, about to pull the trigger. At the last second, the last guest produces a grenade and pulls the pin. Chez rushes forward, pushing the last guest out of the way just as the grenade explodes. The scene then shifts to Chez placing the unconscious and injured last guest into the back of a military vehicle. As he does, he hears his father calling out to him.
Son, please, help me, Jess.
Chez refuses, shouting that he knows his father murdered his mother. The general admits to it and offers a weak justification for why he did it.
I did it all for you, son. To make you into a strong and powerful leader. Your mother was too soft on you.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
Chez delivers his final words to the Bacon General.
You locked away, humiliated, and killed hundreds of innocent people. I will never help you.
Who ultimately succumbs to his injuries. The scene then cuts to Chez driving to the Empire, carrying the last guest to the doctor's office. There, the Bacon Doctor is able to treat and stabilize him. And that's how The Last Guest 2 wraps up. I was planning to dive into parts 3 and 4 as well, but this script is already getting pretty long. However, if this video hits around 5,000 views, maybe I'll tackle part 3 next. For now, let's shift gears and talk about the movie itself and why I have some issues with it. Time to talk turkey. First, let's talk about the animation. This is not the strongest aspect of The Last Guest 2. Character movements can feel stiff and awkward at times, especially during action sequence. And limb articulation often looks unnatural. Much of this comes from Matt relying on mixer mode and Roblox's avatar modes to bring the film to life. Keep in mind, this was made long before the Moon Animator plugin exists, meaning he had to use Roblox scripting along with some form of screen recording software to create the movie. Considering these technical limitations, the ambition and effort here are genuinely impressive, and Matt deserves credit for what he achieved. The voice acting is hit or miss. Grant Rorat's performance as the Colonel is excellent.
I've heard many great things about you, Jez. No doubt you will make a glorious leader of this empire one day. The guest games are always an exciting highlight of the year. Don't worry, you won't be seeing them anytime soon. The General sure is going to be very disappointed. Both of you make your way to his office. He can decide what to do with you. Changed my mind. I don't like traitors.
His voice brings authority and attention to the role, making the character compelling. Chez and Rose, however, are less consistent. Chez has a cool sounding voice, but it doesn't fit a 15-year-old protagonist. He comes across as much older and sounding more like a smoker.
The Colonel killed Mom. Dad, the knife which killed Mom was in his desk. Don't you have a real name? You killed my mother. And you killed my best friend. Now you're going to die!
Rose's performance is serviceable, but there are moments where her delivery feels strained, with occasional stumbles which can take the audience out of the story. Critically speaking, the plot has several issues that make it difficult to fully engage with. The story leans heavily on dramatic twists and shocking moments, Sarah's sudden death, or the revelation that the Bacon General killed Chez's mother, but many of these events feel rushed and underdeveloped, reducing their emotional impact. Pacing is uneven, with intense action sequences followed by exposition, heavy dialogue that leaves little room for the audience to process events. Some plot points like the prison camp and the guest games feel like screen for the world the film has built, which can make it difficult to suspend disbelief. I also think the sequels, The Last Guest 2, 3, and 4, might have worked better as prequels rather than direct sequels. Part of the original movie's impact came from the ambiguous ending of the first film, with The Last Guest's fate. Revealing in part 2 that Chez rescues him undermines that sense of closure and suspense. A prequel approach could have explored how the Bacon Empire came to be, or why the Bacon General harbors such intense hatred towards the guests, which might have made for a more cohesive and compelling narrative. The soundtrack, including tracks from really slow motion, is genuinely high quality, but the placement of the music often feels off. Intense traumatic music sometimes plays during scenes that aren't actually intense, creates tonal dissonance that can distract rather than enhance the story. Overall, The Last Guest 2 is an ambitious and creative effort, especially considering the technical limitations of its production. There are standout elements like the Colonel's performance and moments of genuine emotional weight that show real promise. At the same time, stiff animation, uneven voice acting, and a rush over stuff plot hold the film back. While it may not fully live up to full potential, it's still an interesting movie to look back on. So that's my review of The Last Guest 2. If this video hits 5,000 views, I'll be diving into the other movies as well. Be sure to share this video and subscribe to my channel to stay updated. If you'd like to support me, you can become a Ko-Fi member or YouTube member. Supporting me on YouTube gives you access to my Discord server, early access to my videos, and a shout out at the end of my videos as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.
%100% pure fish. Batter.